Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. I am once again joined by KJ over at Rakurai Network. Man, why don't you say hello to everyone listening? Tell everyone how you've been. It's been a long time since you and I have done a video, man.
Man, how's it going? This is KJ, aka Rakurai Network. As he said, it's been a very long time. College is stressful and it's hard, and it's just good to get some downtime here and there. But I'm happy to be here again, and thank you for having me.
Oh, no worries, man. I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and also I completely understand that, school, life, everything, it's kind of hard. It's always really nice to have some downtime. I hope everyone listening right now has a little bit of downtime listening to this discussion. I hope you're really enjoying it or prepared for it. The thumbnail might not be the best for the situation, the topic, but I want to kind of explain what we're talking about. You guys saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We're talking about Gohan's obstacles. Now, what do we mean by that? We're talking about the Tournament of Power specifically, and if Gohan's going to win this thing, which I've argued on my channel from time to time, he could. I mean, it's absolutely possible that he could end up winning this thing. There's a lot of foreshadowing that would seem to hint at that and everything else like that. But he ain't going to get there willy-nilly. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen in the midst of 1 or 2 episodes. We have months of this thing going in to the, just for this particular arc. So it's not going to happen anytime soon, and they need to give Gohan some significant character building in the meantime. And honestly, I think that they have been doing that. If you want to argue about whether or not Gohan has been getting any shine or something, as MJ would say, and I think it is worth noting, he did get a couple episodes going into this. I mean, he had a complete filler arc almost centered around him, and then he also got some shine in the preliminary match with his fighting since coming back. We got Goku Blue versus Gohan's ultimate form, pretty awesome before any of this even started. And then as we're in the Tournament of Power itself, we've seen Goku go up against Universe 10, completely take out the Universe 10 team, and we got to see him react to that universe getting eliminated, which I think is probably the most impactful thing that we've seen in this entire tournament. So if you're going to sit there and say that Gohan has gotten no shine, he's gotten no build-up or anything else like that, I say you're absolutely wrong, and we're probably going to get something from him by the end of this arc. So there are some things they need to do with him as they go forward. KJ, I think, just me, individually, personally, I think one of the things they're putting Piccolo and Gohan up against the Namekians of Universe 6, because this is just another thing he has to go through. He has Piccolo as a master since a young boy. He knows and respects the Namekians. We've seen him fight for the Namekians before. Now, it would be weird, they're probably going to eliminate them in the next episode if the preview and the title have anything to say about it in the last couple of episodes. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think that that's going to hurt Gohan more than it would hurt anyone else in the tournament? Do you think that this is an intentional thing for them?
Man, concerning the Namekians, I've continually thought that was really. I really thought that was interesting. I see, for one, the idea of how much it seems like the Namekians from Universe 6 have just kind of been pestering Gohan and Piccolo. I kind of see that as how Piccolo first saw Gohan for a while in the Saiyan arc, where he kind of just felt like Gohan was just this nuisance in his life for a very long time when he was trying to train him. And like you said, it's sort of flipped on its head now, where you have Gohan going against 2 people of this race of people that he really genuinely respects. But concerning that, I don't think that will cause him too major of an issue, as long as he doesn't think that it's bothering Piccolo. And I think there are tiny signs here and there that it might be bothering Piccolo in the slightest way. I mean, it's very similar to, how Goku, rather than being so focused on wanting to knock out Caulifla and Kale, he wants to see what they can do. And I sort of feel like Piccolo has the same mentality, so I feel like with Gohan, I think this will lead into a further point that you're gonna make, but I think with Gohan, I think he's following Piccolo's lead in terms of whatever whatever he sees that Piccolo makes of a situation, he's basically following that. He's sort of the brawn to Piccolo's brain. And that's sort of how I see their little dynamic right now. Whereas like the androids, they're both sides immediately. They're just the duo that they just get crap done together, and they just have that same mix of just brutality, speed, power, and everything. Whereas Gohan and Piccolo, they serve their own respective roles, I think. With Piccolo being that main strategist and Gohan still getting back into the swing of things. Because it's one thing going from fighting Goku Blue, which is a one-on-one fight and a sparring match at that, to a full-on, pretty much free-for-all fight between all these universes. So I think he's still trying to get in the swing of things, but I think he really is just trying to follow Piccolo. So if he sees that Piccolo is having issues with the Namekians, and if he sees that maybe it's getting to him on like a deep, personal level, then I don't think he'll go as crazy on it.
Interesting thought. I kind of think that it's the opposite. I don't think Piccolo is one to get really emotional, even though it would make a whole lot of sense because he is fighting people of his race, or he knows there's just at least a little bit of a familial connection to there. I think Gohan is the one who's a lot more emotionally connected to this stuff, and he's going to be the one feeling this a lot more if they end up fighting and even eliminating these two Namekians from the stage, and thus ensuring the destruction of not only all of Universe 6, but also an entire planet of Namekians, which he fought to protect in his youth. I think there's just so much narratively that could really go into that, and just a way to build up Gohan's character. Something that I think a lot of Dragon Ball fans could instantly recognize without them spending too much time on it. We just need Gohan dwelling on the thought of it just for a second. I think the next thing I want to talk about, though, is speaking of Namekians. I think another obstacle he has to get over, which is something we're always kind of imagining is going to happen. I don't think there's anyone out there who legitimately believes, and if there are, I'm really sorry. I'm sure you have your reasons, and share them in the comment section below if you do. But we have Piccolo, who's probably not going to be the last man standing on Universe 6's team. And at this point, Piccolo's the only one that Gohan can really rely on. Since the very beginning of the tournament and almost his entire life, he's always been able to rely on Piccolo in order to save him, in order to be there, be at his side, train him, all this other stuff. And it is this long-running joke with the fandom that Goku isn't really a good dad and Piccolo is the ultimate dad, especially for Gohan. But it does go without saying that once Gohan loses Piccolo, do you think that that's going to have another impact on the way that he fights in this tournament? Because at least in my opinion, I know it could shake things up, but losing Piccolo seems way more realistic than losing Gohan anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, there was a small part in the preview, which I don't know for sure, but it gave like that same little white particle effect in a way when Piccolo first got taken out in the Saiyan arc, and it gets me thinking they're definitely gonna pull some sort of a nostalgia card there, something like that. But concerning that, when Piccolo, every time the Piccolo has died or anything has happened to him throughout Dragon Ball, because it's been a few times at this point, it makes Gohan go through some sort of an emotional reaction every single time. When he got killed in the Saiyan arc, there was a small moment where Gohan just raged out we saw this huge emotional reaction from him. And even in Super, when it wasn't as strong as a reaction, but when Piccolo got killed by Frieza, as lackluster as I feel that death was, it still made Gohan at the very end of the arc go up to Piccolo, and his emotional reaction then being that he knows he can't just sit on the sidelines as much as he has anymore. and even if he's still working, still being a father, he knows he still has to take some time out to train still. And it's just gonna take a while. Um, and Piccolo was more than willing to help out. There's always some form of reaction, and but I think the major thing too is that I think if Piccolo goes out, I don't think it'll affect Gohan that insanely because the major thing is that I think of was in ending 8, I want to say. There's a point where Piccolo is standing behind Gohan with his arms crossed, and then Gohan shooting the Kamehameha. I think that that could very well be symbolizing how if Piccolo gets knocked out, I think we made a joke at one point in one video, and we made a joke basically saying that if Piccolo were just screaming at Gohan the entire time in the tournament and just screaming at him to say what to do, but I feel like that could very well be where it's going. It not that he's yelling at him, but it could be that Piccolo's from the sidelines, and Gohan, he's not going to be as emotionally affected because he still sees his master there. But I think it'll sort of be on the opposite end where because he can see his master there, Piccolo will have a much larger, understand of the entire field basically, and that could basically give them a huge tactical advantage there because they know each other so well that I think that Piccolo could be very well advising Gohan from the sidelines because as we saw from Supreme Kai almost getting killed by Android 18 in this episode, we know they can very well hear them from the sidelines. They very well can. So I think I don't see it making Gohan, for one, rage out, but I do see it being him sort of getting in the groove of it even more and having Piccolo not so much there physically with him, but sort of in a better position for Gohan where he's on the sideline simply advising him on what to do, and Gohan's able to take that and run with it. So that would be how I would see that.
I completely agree. And, the thing is, I wouldn't say that Gohan is going to be raging out anytime soon, at least from the things that we've talked about right now. I really think that Gohan is going to be bringing, whatever makes him do what he does or get into the mood that he does, it's going to be very slow and methodical. It's not going to be taking out Universe 6. It's not going to be taking out Piccolo. It's not going to be anything. It's going to be something that really, the straw that broke the camel's back. And then I think we're also being subverted in our expectations there based on what Piccolo was telling him before the Tournament of Power, because he was saying, look, you cannot get in that mode. If you ever find yourself in that mode, try to step back and calm down, because anger doesn't bring out the most of your power. It's not the pinnacle of your strength, and you have to find it within yourself, and yada, yada, yada. That to me has always made more sense, something I want to explore a little bit more with Gohan's character and everything going into the tournament. And I think there's ways to get him into that position. One of the things I think would really, some of the things that really need to impact Gohan going into this tournament and going, finishing it really is, we need a few characters to really impact him, really give them their push and their encouragement. You can do this, everything. And those are, at least in my opinion, Beerus and Frieza. Beerus honestly has spent almost very little time with Gohan, almost as little as anyone that he's ever spent time with in the entirety of the Universe 7 team with Gohan, because he didn't attend the tournament with Champa a couple of arcs ago. Very little interaction between those two. Even, I guess, the only one who's had even little or less has been 17, and 17 doesn't really seem to stick out all that much. He's just kind of a strong player for them, and I really think that Beerus needs to give Gohan some respect here and there, and it needs to be felt between the two characters. Another one, even though we got something like that, would be Frieza. I think Frieza needs to show Gohan respect. Frieza's done nothing but disrespect Gohan from the moment that he met him. From a child to an adult and everything in between, everything, even the extended version, extended universe and the movies and everything. Frieza has never shown Gohan an ounce of respect. It's definitely needed in this particular tournament. I think that would be something that would help Gohan get over whatever he needs to get over in order to get that pinnacle of strength, in order to win it for the universe and everything else like that. And then, of course, even though he already has it, Goku. And I don't think Goku really, in a sense, that Goku is going to give Gohan any respect. We've already seen Gohan get so much respect from Goku in this arc, talking about Gohan raises the mortal level even though Goku lowers it and everything else like that, making Gohan the team leader of Universe 7. But Goku has kind of disrespected Gohan, at least in my opinion. He completely ignored Gohan's team leader advice. He wasn't really caring about that. And for the most part, Gohan needs to stop relying on his dad. We've seen him time and time again in this series rely on his dad. If Goku, shock and awe at some point during the tournament, gets taken out, Gohan doesn't have that person to fall back onto. And I would say right before Goku went to go train with Whis, Gohan was telling Chi-Chi, look, Dad needs to go train, because if Dad doesn't train and something else happens like this, no one's gonna be there to protect us. Like, I can't do it. He literally admitted at that point he couldn't do it. And then after the Fukkatsu no F arc, he decided, I shouldn't be thinking like that anymore, and I shouldn't be thinking like that more. And it's been a slow building up processes, everything we're talking about in this video, to get us into that mindset that Gohan is going to have to stand on his own two legs. So what are your thoughts on that, on Beerus, Frieza, and Goku?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I think one major thing concerning the respect factor is, and this is sort of its own miscellaneous thing, but I think at the very end of this tournament, what I would love is Goku, Gohan, and Frieza to be the final three, and at a certain point, they get in such a situation where they have to back into a corner and follow Gohan's instructions. They have to, because they're surrounded by too many people that they have to stand together. And I would freaking adore that if they took that route. And with Goku, I mean, like you said, Goku's already given Gohan, quite a bit of respect during this tournament with making him the team leader and such. But with Frieza, that's the one that I really want. I completely agree. With Frieza, you have, like you said, he has been disrespected by this man so much. I mean, just upon seeing Gohan in the Resurrection F arc, he's just like, death beam, death beam, death beam, death beam. And he just starts shaking this guy with his death beams and just completely disrespects him. And it was just so painful. So it's like, I mean, I think one point to make too is if they want to take that scene and make it and form it into Frieza making a statement on how far Gohan has come, that would give yet another way that Resurrection F ties in. We were talking off air about how this tournament has made Resurrection F seem a lot more meaningful than it was before. And that could be another way for it to mean something, as if Frieza directly references the arc and says, you've come a long way from, when I was putting holes inside of you, basically. like if they were to make that connection, that would go such a long way. And for Beerus, this was also off air, the most that Beerus and Gohan have really had in terms of communication was when Beerus threw Majin Buu into him and knocked them both down. I'm pretty sure Gohan didn't even get to throw a punch at him. So, rip. But like, that was the closest that he ever got. I'm pretty sure that in the baseball episode, Champa showed more respect for Gohan in that episode than Beerus has ever shown Gohan. Ever. Champa acknowledged that he's tough, and then Beerus just did not care. I mean, when they were all standing there getting ready to go to the Tournament of Power, Beerus didn't even say anything to him. he didn't even say anything to him. Like he just like Gohan was just on the side with his glasses on and just poorly art face, and then and then Beerus is just standing there, just not acknowledging him. Just nobody cares that he's there. So, and again, I love referring to the endings because they have to have some form of a. I know they're not gonna be like directly correlated with Super, with like the actual content of Super, but they all connect in some way, I think. And ending 9, at the very end, it showed Goku and Gohan being the two that are rushing into the battle. And I can't let go of my belief that that's important. I think that's really, really, really important because I think, like I said, if it gets in a situation where Goku, Gohan, and Frieza end up being the final 3, and they have to follow Gohan's instructions, Frieza would obviously be the one that gets knocked off if we're following that route. Because come on, let's be real, people would be so mad if Goku got knocked out. People would be mad if Gohan fell out. But if it's Goku and Gohan as the final 2, and then I would absolutely love if Goku has one final Ultra Instinct moment, and when he's low on stamina and can't fight anymore, Gohan takes control and takes care of the entire battle, maybe fighting like 5 people off, and just gets them all while Goku's recovering. And then, I mean, okay, I know this sounds very outlandish, but it's just anything, because we have to remember, Beerus recognized Master freaking Roshi. And he still doesn't know Gohan's name.
It's true.
He still doesn't know Gohan's name, and he knows Master Roshi. I mean, no hate on Master Roshi, but he knows Master Roshi more than he does Gohan. That disturbs me a little bit. So it's like whatever they could do to, and I think you're exactly right. Like taking away something that Gohan relies on, like Goku or like Piccolo in this arc, I think would help him let go. Because if he knows he doesn't have that, he keeps, like you said, putting himself in this feeling where he says, well, if they're not here, I can't do this. But in a situation where they actually aren't there, we haven't really seen what Gohan can do yet. I mean, we saw in the Android arc, we saw a situation where when everyone else is down, what Gohan does is incredible. And if they want to take that exact same route here, I mean, we've already had callbacks to the Saiyan arc in terms of like where Goku, in terms of where Gohan and Piccolo were training, very reminiscent of the Saiyan arc where they were at. We've had callbacks to the Frieza arc, the Spirit Bomb failed, new transformation, need I say more? And if they want to make callbacks to the Cell arc now, it could very well be a situation where maybe there's a certain point where maybe not everyone's down or anything like that, but maybe he's just in a situation where he is cornered and he's all alone. Nobody can help him because they're all fighting their own battles, just like how they were all fighting against the Cell Juniors. And then during this point, Gohan realizes, I can't hide behind them anymore. And then that's when he fully awakens his power back, and then just shows off what he has to offer. And then we could get that moment where Beerus would finally recognize him, and Frieza would hopefully recognize him. I don't know if he'll ever recognize him. Frieza is Frieza, but I mean he's shown. Okay, this is the big thing. Frieza is shown
to see Frieza come in and recognize anyone,
right.
Really.
But Frieza
at this point would be kind of astonishing, really.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it would be kind of great to see Frieza be like, oh, okay.
Frieza has shown more respect for Goku in this arc than he has for Gohan. Like, can we just put that in perspective? Like, Frieza literally gave energy to Goku's Spirit Bomb. He gave energy to Goku's Spirit Bomb. He has shown more respect for Goku than he has for Gohan. Gohan needs this.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think the last question, though, or the last obstacle Gohan's going to have to come up to, and something that we absolutely need in this arc. And I think Gohan, more so than anyone else, and they've tried to force this on Goku sometime with filler, and also with other things in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball movies, especially with the Battle of Gods arc, or Gods movie, really, not the arc, but the Battle of Gods movie, is this idea we want to see, at least I want to see, some semblance of stuff that we're missing out on as we're watching the Tournament of Power take place. They took away everybody. They just kind of brought in the 10 people that they're going to show we're going to see fighting for the next several months, and this is going to be an all-out type of battle royale situation. We're not going to cut away and show Goten and Trunks or Bulma or Yamcha or Chi-Chi or anybody else. I really think that Gohan, the last thing he would really have to kind of get over, and one of the things that we need as an audience, is to see, and for him to see and get over, or at least promise, or some kind of flashback of Videl saying it's going to be okay, promising, or saying goodbye to Pan, and all this other stuff, or Goten and Trunks, Bulma, Chi-Chi, whatever you think Gohan might have done in those hours where we weren't really seeing him, we need to see that, and we need to see him think about that as he goes into his last fight, or maybe when he thinks that he can't get up again, or something else like that. I mean, I know it's cliche, I know it's something that we've seen before in so many different other types of media and everything else, but I need that. As a fan of Gohan, as a fan of Dragon Ball, I need that. I need to see people that we've forgotten about for so many months. And if we just see him for that split second, I think it would be justification as to why they hid him away from us for so long and they never cut back. Just to see Gohan knowing that he promised people and he's the last hope, or anything else, in order to get up that one last time and beat whoever he needs to beat, whether it's Jiren or anyone else, and win it for Universe 7. I think that would be his main obstacle, and one of the most emotionally impactful moments we've ever seen in all of Dragon Ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, in Super alone, a lot of the emotional moments in Super have had to do with Gohan. I mean, the first example that I think of is the Future Trunks arc, when Trunks is taking off, and there's that small cut off to future Gohan when he's saying goodbye to present Gohan. That was, at least for me, because I know some people didn't find it emotional, but for me, that moment almost made me tear up for real, because that again, that was such an emotional moment, but it directly correlated with Gohan, and so many of these moments with Dragon Ball Z and with Super now have very much had to do with Gohan. And like you said, that could also serve for a really good moment there. I mean, it's just like how in the Resurrection F arc we had the cutaway when Frieza blew up the Earth. We had the cutaway in episode 27 that we didn't have in the movie, when it showed what everyone was doing at that given point, and then the Earth just explodes around them. That was crazy. And just something like that, where it's maybe, if something as small as Gohan's about to get knocked out by Jiren, let's paint a picture, as MJ would say. Like, he's about to get knocked out by Jiren, right? And as he's about to get knocked out, Jiren is about to, puts the dramatic hand in face as he fires up this huge ki blast. And then as Gohan's sitting there saying that he can't do it because Goku may have already fought him and he's out of stamina on the side, Gohan staying on the edge, or sitting on the edge rather, and then, as he's sitting there wincing in pain, he suddenly has a flashback to kissing Videl goodbye and telling Pan, and maybe the final thing that gets him to snap is telling Pan, I promise that I'll be back to see you by the time this is over, or something like that. Like, just directly something having to do with Pan, I think would make this, I think that would make this work so well. If it's about Gohan and Videl for a minute, and then as soon as it becomes about Pan, that's what makes him do that quick attack that gets him, won't defeat Jiren by any means, but it'll give him that rough advantage for a little bit, just to get Jiren off of him with enough time for Goku to get back up, whatever happens at that point. I agree with you, we need that moment for Gohan that, you know, we've had the moments where the other universes talk about their universes and what's in them and stuff like that, but we haven't really had much of that for Universe 7. I think we've been so involved in the tournament that we've kind of lost touch of what's really at stake here. Um, it kind of reminds me of GT when they were searching for the Black Star Dragon Balls. They didn't really cut away to the side cast at all for quite a while. And there were certain moments where you could tell they were thinking about these people, and that's what made them go further in the show, and that's what made them have to keep pushing and fight those battles. So if they want to take that same route with Gohan in this arc, that would just be perfect.
Anyway, I completely agree. Guys, I want everyone to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below about what you think Gohan's main obstacles are going to be in this particular arc. Do you think it has anything to do with remembering Pan, Videl, losing Piccolo, losing Goku, getting the respect of Beerus or Frieza or anyone else or anything else in this tournament? What do you think he's already kind of overcome, and what do you think he has to get through in order to probably be the savior that they're building him up to be? And anyway, I want everyone to go down to the description section below and hit that link to go subscribe to Rakurai. The guy makes some really awesome content. You're not going to want to miss that stuff. Not just Dragon Ball, but other anime stuff as well. So please make sure to go subscribe and hit that link if you're new, especially if you've never seen it before. At the same time, I want everyone to like and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. And also share this video out to all your friends so they can share all their thoughts and opinions on this subject as well. I hope everyone has a really good day. It's been real.